Now, the Osmo Pocket is just one of the tools in my arsenal, but today I thought I'd make it the only one. You know what I mean? Have a little bit of fun with some limitations and answer some questions on using it based on some of the stuff I've seen in the comments lately. This camera is for someone who wants to capture multiple different angles, get beautiful cinematic images, have high-speed slow motion, have a separate device for storing all their files. Having all this in one single package significantly increases the likelihood that I'm actually going to use the camera. All right, so we're shooting on full auto. So the main thing we're really testing out here is like the decision making of the Osmo Pocket. Typically when I'm shooting, I'm going to go 24 frames per second, keep it pretty standard, try to get that cinematic look. But the question is like, does shooting on full auto affect your ability to get those, you know, that motion blur, that crispy image that you really want? But again, for me, I don't even think about that. Like, I mainly think if I shoot it good enough, it does not matter. And my whole thing is always like to just encourage people to just shoot and do whatever you want and who cares, and stop worrying about these rules, which is why I'm shooting this entire video on auto, and we'll see what happens. I have no idea because I've never shot a full project like this. I thought this would be a kind of an opportunity for me to just give that a shot to see what it comes out to be, because I'm already looking at the Mimo app here. And I've seen a couple of shots where it's like 1/25. What is that going to look like? What is 1/30 going to look like? Well, I mean, I don't know. But it is my kid's graduation coming up tomorrow, and we're going to run out to the store, grab some balloons. I already bought a couple of things for him, but I wanted to wait to get the balloons until the day before, so that way they don't completely deflate. The only things I'm really going to be using to assist me in making this video is the Ulanzi MT-89, if that is it, a Ulanzi, whatever that, and I'm also going to use, you know, the Mic Mini. But other than that, nothing crazy, nothing, no special. You gotta buy this attachments, because you don't. Like, stop buying stuff. Start using your camera. If you're not using it, it does not matter what you have sitting in a bag, because you're never gonna open that bag up and you're never gonna put that stuff into practice. Okay, actually I lied. I'm gonna use one more thing. I'm gonna use the newer wide angle attachment. I think it's like 17 bucks. And that just shows you what difference it makes. I don't even know if it makes that much of a difference, but I do like having that wider field of view, but honestly, it is a little bit of a hassle, and I do fear that I'm gonna lose that attachment. So that's why I don't use it that much. Like, it's, again, one of those things that kind of hangs out in the bag. Special circumstances only, because reaching into my bag every time I want to get a shot that's a little bit wider is just not worth it. I'll just find another shot. You know, with the tariffs, a lot of people kind of hesitated on buying the Osmo, and it's like this weird thing that we do now where everyone's always like, is it the right time because the new one's coming out? There's always a new one coming out. It's not official. There's no release date or anything. So like, the longer you wait to like get the thing that you want to start using it, the more time you're just wasting. You're not gaining anything. This camera is great. You've watched this video. You've watched 1,000 other videos like this. If you want it and you think it's going to help your workflow, this is a no-brainer. However, what I would recommend is, if you are unsure, go get the old Osmo. Go find the Osmo Pocket 1. I think I paid 150 bucks for mine originally. Like, I bought it used, but you can go get the old Osmo and you can get a pretty good feel for how you would use this camera. It's not gonna be as good. The sensor's not as big. The images are not as clear. You don't have as good a low light before. Like, it's not as good, but the main thing is like, how do you use it? Will the how of this camera make it more likely for you to use it? That's what you really want to know. Like, there is no perfect time to make a purchase. If you have the money and you want it, then do it. But don't sit around questioning whether or not it's right for you. Like, this camera has been out for years at this point. What, like 2 years, 3 years? You know what it is. I think the main reason I wanted to make this video is because there's a lot of videos on this topic, but everyone is trying to sell it to you, and I do not care. Like, I'm gonna put an affiliate link because you're supposed to, but I would always say use your phone. But if you really want to know like what the difference is, I thought it would be cool to have a video where like I kind of explain what's happening. And I started out in the house because you can see the difference. Like, look how much brighter this image is now that I'm outside. A lot of times when you're watching these videos and you're trying to figure out why your images don't look like the ones that you're seeing everybody else get, is because of this. That sunlight. That sunlight hits different, as the kids say. And it makes a huge difference. Like when I'm in the house, it's not gonna look the same. I gotta turn every freaking light on in my place and try to make sure I always carefully place things and be strategic. And that's, again, kind of not what I got the camera for, but shooting it on full auto gives me the opportunity to see like what that difference is. How's the camera handling? I don't know what the settings are right now, but like right now, with the sun, I know you can see a difference. You know, the reason why I encourage everybody to get the DJI Refresh is because if you're using this camera the way it's supposed to be used, there's a pretty good chance you're gonna break it. And in my last Osmo video, I talked about how I just got the camera back and I was so excited. And within a week and a half, I broke that camera again. I'll show you guys. I'll take a picture of what I did to it, but all this glass right here is completely cracked. Now the Osmo is great, but it is incredibly fragile. You know, I rigged it up on the vacuum to get a POV shot, and it fell maybe 2 feet onto the carpet before completely shattering the front lens cover. Now, it still works, but occasionally struggles to focus. But for just 40 bucks, I can get a replacement through the DJI Refresh with expedited shipping. That's gotta be the best warranty in the business. What I mainly notice is there's like 2 different types of Osmo Pocket users. There's the people who use the camera the way they want to use it, and the people who are afraid to. There's people who are just fearless with it. They'll put their camera anywhere, they'll get any shot, any angle, they're not afraid. But then there's the person who's more cautious. They're worried about their expensive camera investment. They're worried about, you know, if they look stupid in public or if someone's going to steal their camera. And I get all of those concerns, but I got to be honest, man, if you're going to buy this thing, you got to use it for what you bought it for. And what I'm noticing is most impressive with Osmo footage isn't the settings. It's the placement of the camera and knowing what it took to even get some of these shots. And if you're not willing to take these chances, then maybe this just isn't the camera for you. Like, this slow motion was captured at whatever auto settings the camera chose for the situation. And to me, it's perfect.
Thank you!
I'm very proud of you, son.
Thank you, Dad.
Very proud of you. You worked so hard this year.
Thank you. Couldn't have done without you.
So I think the question I was really trying to answer is like, can I shoot this camera completely auto and get, you know, those aesthetic images that you want to see? And you know, everyone focuses on the 180-degree shutter rule, and you got to shoot 1/50 and 24 frames per second. And that might be true in some situations, but honestly, for the content and where it's being delivered that you're probably going to be making, it's not going to really matter. Like if you focus on your framing and camera angles, you're going to be able to get nice stuff without having to follow those rules. And I think one of the more common complaints you see is people being frustrated that you spend so much time, you know, if you're using indie filters and wide angle lens attachments and things like that, you're just constantly fidgeting with it. You're adjusting white balance and you're adjusting shutter speeds, and that's just a lot of work. And while I won't argue that that won't help, I honestly just don't think it's necessary. I'm pretty happy with everything I've been able to capture. You know, sometimes I'm shooting and, you know, I'll look at the images on the back of the screen and it just doesn't look that great. And then every time I will upload that footage, look at it on my computer and be kind of blown away by how much better it looks. And I think you kind of just have to trust the tool. You know, if you bought an Osmo Pocket, or if you're thinking about getting an Osmo Pocket because of what you've heard and what you've seen, you know, just picking up the camera and feeling like you can trust it to shoot and capture what you want. The creative decisions are really, what angle am I getting? Where am I going to place the camera? How do I make this image more appealing without messing with settings? Because, you know, the camera is going to compensate in the right way because it was designed to. I truly don't believe DJI designed this camera for people to have to make any changes at all, but I'm sure they heard people asking for something with a little bit more control. Even phones now give you that control to, you know, adjust the ISO and the aperture and things like that. But do you need to? Probably not. You know, what makes an image cinematic? Why is that important? The people who are using this camera and who are selling it to you and who are making you feel like it's incredible are people who are fearless with it. They get the shot no matter what the situation is. They're not afraid to take it out in public. They just know where to put the camera and really capture something interesting. And you can be that too, but you got to stop wasting your time worrying about settings, because that's not what's going to make the difference. So do you need to follow the rules to capture cinematic images? Probably not. But I wouldn't let these rules box you in when it comes time to pull out your camera and actually capture something. When it really comes down to it, is anyone going to comment on your video and say, it looks good, but the shutter speed is off, or I feel like your ISO is a little bit too high? I don't really think so if you're making good content. But if you disagree, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next one.